Hello everyone, welcome to Suzuka for round 17 of the 2015 CRC World Championship. We are here live at the Suzuka circuit for what should be a very interesting race. And the main interest I have today is Alex Moores can win the championship today. But what he needs for that to happen is he needs to outscore Will Estley by 15 points. If he can do that, then he clinches the 2015 Drivers' Championship. Obviously, you could say Alex has been a bit lucky with the amount of misfortunes that Estley's had, but it's been a good season for Alex Moores. Anyway, the drivers are now just heading to the front of the grid and getting ready for the national anthem here at Suzuka. The national anthem of Japan. Ahead of the race start. The drivers are just heading to the front of the grid now. It is certainly going to be an interesting one here today. Who is going to take victory here at Suzuka? The drivers are just heading to the front of the grid. And now we are ready for the national anthem of Japan. And that is the national anthem of Japan. Of course, the drivers are now just heading back to their teams. Obviously now getting ready for their final preparations. We have lights out in just over 15 minutes time here at Suzuka. We're certainly in for an interesting race this day. 53 laps. It's expected to be a fully dry race. But the start is going to be very interesting. A lot can happen at the first corner. You just drop in there. And it's a tightening corner, so a lot can happen. And it's very fast. So everyone's going to be fighting for one space going to turn one, because the outside line is very slow around turn one. So a lot can happen. Someone gets, if more than like one person tries to fight for one piece of space, then a lot can happen. Just running out of space is the huge risk. But also something that has been one of the big stories of the paddock today, or this weekend, is we've got an impending announcement there from Coombe GP. There is a real impending announcement. So and to be honest, think Coombe GP have missed a massive opportunity to announce their second driver. But to be honest, I think it's going to be O'Driscoll. It's kind of a done deal, to be honest, as to who's going to be in that car. I just don't see who else would get that seat other than Rosie O'Driscoll. I mean, they've said they want to sign a rookie, and then they're wanting to change their mind to be able to sign an experienced driver. But to be honest, I think Coombe GP have left it a little bit late for that. Because I think all the drivers they can really sign have already got a seat. For example, there was talk of Kieran Hardy possibly going there if he was to get the sack from Guindana. But then he got recalled by Guindana, and it was confirmed that he is going to be staying at the team next year. So to be honest, I think all the current drivers on the grid they can really sign have already got seats. Like Harvey Williams, the driver that's been hanging out there waiting for a seat is James Humphreys, but I just don't think he's been good enough this year for that seat. Because he has clearly been consistently outpaced by his teammate, Louise Morrow. So going for a rookie is kind of something they can't go back on now, considering the fact that all the experienced drivers have got seats. And they've got Quinn Bayliss and Robbie Beaumont in their junior team. But in regards to their CGP2 performances, I just don't think they have been good enough to be able, especially for a seat such as Coombe GP, where they are expecting to be back at the front, hopefully sort out their issues that they had this year for next year. So I just don't think Bayliss and Beaumont are ready. And same with Leggett as well. Or Leggett may be a midfield team she might go to, but I don't think she's ready for like a seat such as Coombe GP. So to be honest, I just don't see who other than O'Driscoll they're going to go for, seeing as Phoebe O'Connor's already got a seat in the RTS for next year. So I just don't see who else they're going to go for. So to be honest, I think it is pretty much a done deal that it is going to be Rosie O'Driscoll in that car next year. Anyway, I'll be right back, then I'll talk through a few more things, and it's going to be time to go to the KSR coverage. Okay, so I am back. We're almost time for the KSR coverage. Of course, obviously, as CRC is going to Suzuka, obviously, we all know that this was the scene of obviously tragic events in the real Formula 1 that happened last year. And it's obviously the CRC race this time last year didn't actually coincide with the F1, so the drivers weren't actually there when the tragic incident happened, but they were actually still racing on that day. They were actually racing in Singapore on that day, this time last year, so all their tributes were made there. Of course, that was a day that everyone was praying and hoping that he was going to recover. And I seem to remember when he tragically passed away, it was the Silverstone weekend this year. I remember it was a CRC weekend because I remember when it was announced I had to commentate on CGP3. Like, yeah, it was Silverstone, wasn't it? I had to commentate on CGP3 like half an hour after finding out, which wasn't pleasant. Of course, rest in peace, Jules. Obviously, I know it happened like ages ago, but still it was a tragic loss for F1. Anyway, we are almost ready. It's now time to go to the KSR coverage here at Suzuka. Hey everyone, welcome to Suzuka, which plays host to round 17 of the 20 race 2015 CRC World Championship. We are here at the Suzuka circuit for what should be a very interesting race. The formation, like I showed, to get underway and around in just over 5 minutes here at Suzuka. But it's certainly going to be an interesting one here at Suzuka. It is one of the most popular venues on the 2015 CRC calendar, and it's really going to be interesting to see who we're going to see master this Suzuka circuit. Last year, Kieran Hardy absolutely mastered this Suzuka circuit and took his first of 3 wins in such a strong back end to the season that Kieran had last year. He won in Japan, won in Brazil, won in Abu Dhabi, and almost won at the South America if he hadn't had that mechanical truck from he had in the early laps of last year's American Grand Prix. But it's going to be an interesting race here at Suzuka, because with the Anatarokas on the front row, and I think we could see something happen at turn 1, because it's a fast turn 1. If you go on the outside line, you're likely to lose a lot of ground if you have to go on the outside line, which means that we might have a case of like 4 people fighting for one bit of space on the inside of the track, and then that is where incidents can happen, particularly on the first lap. So don't be surprised if we do see the safety car make an appearance today, if we do see someone find the barriers here today. But it's going to be interesting to start. Watch Chantal Hawk in 3rd place, because if she gets in between those 2 Unata Rokas, then That could make things really interesting indeed. If he is able to get in between those two Yunatarokas off the line. Because those two Yunatarokas have not been the best off the line recently. They've not been the best off the line, but over a race distance they do have pace. And in the long run paces that we saw on Friday, it did seem Will Essie did have the upper hand over his teammates. So I think Alex is going to have to dig deep if he doesn't want Will Essie to get away in the early laps. Of course, he can win the championship today, can Alex Moores, but the likelihood of that happening is not very likely. It's likely to go to the circuit of the Americas at least in 2 weeks' time. But we're almost ready for lights out here at Suzuka. And we're almost ready for the formation lap to get underway. As the cars are just now about, they're getting like the 20-second signal before we're going to skip session. They're going to start with the 30-second signal before the formation lap gets underway. And the 30-second signal has started now before the formation lap is going to get underway. Just here we go. Gonna skip you to the scene. Track temperature is 16 degrees, not the hottest it's been all weekend. As the formation lap gets underway now. We're underway for the formation lap. And as per usual, we're going to give you our usual rundown of the grid. Here at Suzuka. In pole position, it is Will Essie ahead of Alex Moores in second. In third on the grid, it is Chantal Hawk ahead of Hannah Duran in fourth. In fifth on the grid, it is Dan Milliner ahead of Kieran Hardy in sixth. In seventh on the grid, it is Toby Jones with Jack Baldwin in eighth. The fifth and sixth, seventh rows and eighth rows all being filled up by Marshalls and Gindanas. The fifth row is being made up of both Coombs of Matthew Toussaint in ninth and Matt Coombs in 10th. 11th on the grid, it's Will Buchan ahead of Lucas Quintanilla in 12th. David Bland lines up in 13th ahead of Dan Phillips in 14th. Louise Morrow lines up in 15th ahead of Tom Mungle in 16th. Max from Degala lines up in 17th ahead of his teammate Luke Julian. Then row 10 is made up of both Shantanas of Chloe Carter and Zach D. In 21st on the grid, it is Joshua Moores ahead of James Humphreys in 22nd. Harvey Williams lines up in 23rd ahead of Tom Farrar-Smith in 24th. Lucy Woodward, after her engine penalty, lines up in 25th ahead of Kerry-Ann Peace in 26th. George Chandler 27th, Holly Steele 28th, James Casey 29th, and Elliot Everson at the back of the grid. And that is your grid for today's race. As now, the cars are just heading towards the final part of the lap. Here we go. Now just awaiting the final cars as Will Essie is about to get in his grid spot. How is he going to park his car? I think he's parked his car a bit more to the outside. He's parked his car neutrally, I think. As here we're just waiting the final few cars. Here we go. Here we go. The cars are all in position. We have the lights in Suzuka. It's lights out, and away we go. And Wesley immediately goes to the inside to cover off his teammate as they head into the first corner. Are they all going to get to the first corner safely? It's Wesley who leads the way. We've got contact already. That's Chantal Hawk, and one of the Master Force is going off already. We have contact already, but I think they're all going to get going. It's Wesley who leads the way. Toby Jones is already up into third place. Massive contact at turn 1. I think they have all managed to get going again. I'm not sure what happened there. Chantal Hawk is that. Will Buchan down the inside of Dan Myrna, who obviously rejoined. But it's Wesley who leads the way from Alex Moores. Toby Jones up into third. He has made an amazing start, with Matthew Tewson up into fifth as well, as they head up towards the Degners for the first time. I'm sure we will get a replay of what happened at the start, but I'm not sure who was at fault. Already out of shape, we have Tom Farrow-Smith heading into the Degners. We've got a very wide Shantana of Chloe Carter as they head up towards. Whoa, we have contact there. That could have so easily been a terrible crash. A bit all argy-bargy on this opening lap. Chantal Hawk really lost out there. It's the driver who really lost out as they head towards the end of the first time. We already have quite a spread out field. But I'm sure we are going to get a replay as to what happened. I think it was contact between Hawk and Myrna. That's what I was talking about. We were before the race, so many drivers. As here comes Dan Myrna down the inside of Will Buchan. Somehow, all 30 cars are still running. Oh, we got, as I say that, Matt Coombs is round. Is he going to get going again? And he's collecting the CGP. We have carnage here. I'm not sure what Matt Coombs is doing. He's just reversing. Bit of a weird man, but he's dropped to the back of the field and he's out of the race. So Matt Coombs has retired already. Not what you'd expect there from Matt Coombs. So we've lost Matt Coombs from this race already, but Wesley is pulling away. But what happened at turn 1? That's what we need to have. We're going to be interested to have a look at. Let's have a look at a replay at turn 1. So they line up on the grid. So we saw Chantal Hawk really spin. So they get underway. Chantal Hawk gets a reasonable start, and I think that was 100% Kieran Hardy's fault. Kieran Hardy just turned straight in on Chantal Hawk, and then Dan Myrna was just unfortunately collected by all of that. Myrna did get going again. He was the one who suffered the least from all of that. And see, you've got action behind. This is between Dan Myrna and Will Buchan. Is Dan Myrna going to try around the outside? What a move from Dan Myrna, heading into turn 1, round the outside of Will Buchan. Payback for Singapore, that was. But Dan Myrna right round the outside of Will Buchan. That was a great move. Oh, we got contact. That is Harvey Williams and Zach Sadiq coming together. And so much action in these opening laps. So many incidents. But an amazing pass there from Myrna. As they head towards the middle of the opening lap Lucy Woodward, as Chantal Hawk has got past George Chandler. She's starting to fight her way through the field. Still, Esley leads the way as the field are starting to settle into a rhythm. Dan Phillips up into 9th place. Lucas Quintanilla has dropped back. Everyone's starting to spread out a little bit now, but what's Chantal Hawk now? Obviously going to be at the back of the field after that incident with Kieran Hardy. We are hearing the incident between Kieran Hardy and Chantal Hawk is under investigation. And Dan Milner as well, obviously, was involved in that. Oh, that's Kieran Hardy almost gaining advantage there by going off at 130R, almost managing to get past James Casey, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to be stuck behind the Speed Tech for long. As is Kieran Hardy going to have a look down the inside, not going into turn 1, that was not going to work. Harvey Williams into the pits for a new front wing. Woodessy's pulling away up front at the moment. But put your opinion in the comment section of who you think was at fault for the first corner collision. Oh, we got contact. That's Kieran Hardy really in the wars today with James Casey. And Kieran Hardy getting involved in quite a lot of incidents. He may have won last year's race, but today's race, it's not going well for him. Woodessy is pulling away up front. Jack Baldwin in the other Guindana is getting quite close to Dan Milner. In the battle for third place. Will Buchan has repassed Dan Milner. Milner made a mistake off the final corner. And Buchan gets through at turn 1. Lucy Woodward is starting to make up a bit of ground up into 19th place, benefiting from all the incidents that we've seen in these opening laps. Behind Joshua Moores in the battle for P18. Chantal Hawks up into 23rd after her shenanigans at turn 1. Taken off by Kieran Hardy, what really was. And obviously I'm pretty sure she has been told that Hardy is under investigation by the stewards for causing a collision at turn 1. Which is not really surprising because it really was 100% Kieran Hardy's fault, that incident was. But Woodward's going to have the run here on... No, surely not 130R, surely! Is she going to do it? Yes! Lucy Woodward has done it! Going into 130R! What a move from Lucy Woodward! Straight through into 18th place. That was only for 18th place, but that was an incredible move. On Joshua Moores. She got the run, she used it wisely. Look at the lead Esley has now. He's really pulling away. He's clearly got the measure of his teammate here today so far. But okay, I just have to turn the volume down slightly because it's not possible to do it without people seeing this, but so sorry if that's annoying, but I have to. But it's so still Woodessy leads the way. Look at this. You've got Hannah Duran here right behind Matthew Towson in the battle for 5th place. He's not quite able to make the move. It's Dan Milner down the inside of Will Buchan. Oh, he's gone very wide. He's into the gravel. Dan Milner's gone off. He rejoins, but it's behind Dan Phillips. That really did not work for Dan Milner. As Lucy Woodward's still trying to get past Chloe Carter. We have seen action so far today, some bold moves. So it's not going to be possible now to show the move from Moore's point of view. Chantal Hawk behind the two wheelspin lockies. She's doing a good job fighting her way through the field. I think she can still get some points. Here today. Oh, I just saw a change in position. No, I didn't. But Jack Baldwin's getting very close to Toby Jones in the battle for third place. Toby Jones is already going to the inside to defend. But Milner's not quite able to make the move. Humphreys versus Wondragala into turn one. Ooh, squeezing James Humphreys was. Completely squeezing Wondragala there. And now Tom Mungall's going to have a look down the inside. As Lucy Woodward gets down the inside of Chloe Carter, but it's been forced off by the grass. And Chloe Carter's off. I don't know why Chloe Carter went off there. That was not... You can't blame Woodward for that. Chloe Carter is out of the race. You can't really put the blame on Woodward for that. I think Hawk lost out in all of that as well. Well, she went off at turn one as well. A lot of people having problems at turn one making moves. So Chloe Carter's our second retirement. But... by the way, where's your co-commentator? By the way, James is unavailable today, so he can't actually commentate. Dan Milner is struggling to get past. Oh, here comes Jack Baldwin. Going for quite a lunge down the inside of Toby Jones, but not quite able to make it stick. A lot of people have been told to be careful when making moves at turn one. I'm seeing a lot of people spin there through overtakes. Dan Milner's right behind Dan Phillips on lap 9 of this Japanese Grand Prix, struggling to get through on the DMAD. But everyone seems to spread out a little bit. Kieran Hardy's struggling to make up ground. I think we should expect, because Hawk did touch the barrier when going into turn one, I think we should expect a long stop for her. Her race has been completely ruined by Kieran Hardy. I think Kieran Hardy will probably have a penalty coming his way after the race, due to an incident that was, looking at the replay, was completely black and white as to what Hardy did wrong. He completely cut across on the Dork racing car. He did completely cut across. So Lucy Woodward, but Lucy Woodward's progressing through the field quite well. Still Jack Baldwin right behind Toby Jones. I think he's been told to just wait till the pit stops. So please be careful. Don't go for any... Don't do anything silly. Just don't do anything silly. And Zach Zadika's lost it. The second person to go off there today. Lucy Woodward has apparently been told, and make that Jack Baldwin go on. He's been told on the team radio, don't do anything silly. There is the pit stop phase coming up. But it's Will Essie who is really pulling away. From the cars behind. And the thing about Kieran Hardy, I mean, we know he's a very top class driver. He's one of the best drivers on the grid, but he does make a few mistakes sometimes. Obviously, this is a race he won last year, and it's very unlikely that is gonna happen again this year. Dan Milner is still getting very close to Dan Phillips. It's going to be very interesting when they come up to lap traffic. Not really much going on at the moment. Here you've got Jack Baldwin. Right behind Toby Jones. Still cannot make the move stick. Dan Phillips is also leading a bit of a train here. It's cooled down a little bit, all this action has. Not really much going on now. I think I did curse it on that first lap. I said it seems everyone has survived the first lap before Matt Coombs went off and crashed. Oh, here comes Louise Morrow down the inside of Dan Miller, and she has made that move stick. So Louise Morrow up into 9th. So Dan Milner's strong. I think he might have a bit of damage from that first corner melee. Essie is catching up to traffic now. And this is where I bet Essie is going to lose the lead because the back markers seem to fancy Alex Moores. But it's still Essie in the lead of the race. They're all just setting into a rhythm now. The biggest action is surrounding Kieran Hardy now, who's right behind George Chandler in the battle for P23, who I think it's going to be an easy move on the HWR. But this is the thing now, Hardy's got all this Hardy's got all these slower cars to deal with, and if they're like battling, he's going to be involved in some incident. I wouldn't be surprised if Hardy easily makes a move here, because just look at the straight line speed difference. He's going to be ahead before 130. Oh, he's ahead before. Yep, someone's on the CRC account. I have read the chat. I have got the chat open. There's just not been anything that people have been wanting me to read out. That's why I've not said anything. Hannah Duran has got past Matthew Tewson. That may have happened ages ago, but we didn't see. So where did she do it? No, it didn't happen ages ago. So where did Duran get that move done? Down into the chicane. Bold move from Hannah Duran. So she's ahead of the Coombs GP now. And Jack Baldwin here is looking a lot closer to Toby Jones than he has. As Jack Baldwin's through. Jack Baldwin's through down the inside. Finally, Jack Baldwin has made that move stick. That was bold stuff. That was a really bold move. I think Toby Jones did squeeze him quite a lot. And I think he might have a bit to say about that. Toby Jones did squeeze him quite a lot. By the way, it's not me on the CRC YouTube channel at the moment in the chat. I'm not sure who. I think it's probably James. Or someone else. But that, I think Toby Jones did squeeze Jack Baldwin quite a bit there. I think apparently Baldwin said, "You can't do that. You can't do that, surely." And remarked that he almost forced him off the track. As Chantel Hawk here is getting very close to Tom Farris-Smith. This is probably the closest battle on the track now. Now Jack Baldwin has managed to clear the Master Force car, finally, after laps of waiting for the opportunity to come. Chantal Hawk not quite able to get past. I'm presuming with DRS assistance, she is going to be ahead before turn 1 here. Especially with the straight on speed of the Dork compared to the Wolfsburg Locky. Yep, she is going to easily get that move done. Going into turn 1 on Tom Farris-Smith. Lucy Woodward's now close onto the back of Tom Mungle. And there's Maxim Tagala and James Humphreys in this battle as well. But this is where it's going to get a bit more tricky for Lucy Woodward, considering the fact that someone's on the CRC chat. I'm not sure who it is. I only gave the password to one person. Dan Milner still, as Louise Morrow has passed Dan Phillips. David Bland and Lucas Quintanilla in combat, heading up towards the first corner. There has been a lot of incidents today. Essie has caught up to Harvey Williams. He has actually lapped James Casey already. Elliot Everson's ahead. Hopefully there'll be no silly incidents involving back markers here. Oh dear, this is not good for Essie. I think but also same for Alex Moores. I think Alex Moores is in the same boat here with regards to moving over for back markers. I think Alex Moores is in kind of the same boat because now they're both going to come up to Harvey Williams. A bit of contact that might have damaged Essie's car slightly. Essie's now past Harvey. Actually, similar manner. Did Alex make any contact with Casey? Not quite. It's the Anataroka team principal who seems to be on the account. So Max from Jagala's still behind. Lucy Woodward's struggling to make up places. So what are they? I think they've got pit stops coming up. Quite a while till the next back marker. So Essie's still in the lead of the race. Jack Bullman's not getting away from Toby Jones, is he? As they're heading up towards the hairpin. Well, I have got the chat open. Chantal Hawk's caught up to Joshua Moores now on her fight for the field. Kieran Hardy's got Zach Sadiq ahead. But both are expecting long stops, so they're probably going to lose quite a bit. Especially Hawk, considering her car's taken 2 knocks. As the tyres are starting to wear out here on these cars. Now Alex Moores has got Harvey Williams ahead. Going into Spoon. Oh, there's contact! Alex Moores is round! Alex Moores has gone round! Is he going to get going again? Yes, he is! Just! But Alex Moores getting involved in an incident with a back marker. Alex Moores coming into contact with a back marker. And that has extended the gap at front. And probably damaged Moores' car as well. But Essie's got Elliot Everson ahead, who's the next back marker that they have to deal with. And probably the last before the first round of pit stops. An incident at Spoon Curve. Down the main straight would be a good time for Essie to come across. Everson, yep, this is a good time. Because now he'll just be able to use DRS and get through. Actually, he might catch up to the HWR before his pit stop. But that was good from the HWR. Or from Elliot Everson. Will Buchan's now right behind Matthew Tewson. Of course, both teams fighting for position in the Constructors' Championship, both Coombs GP and Baranasso. Milner's ahead of Phillips. Woodward's got past Wondagala and Mungle, we didn't see that. And Hawk's got past Moores, Joshua Moores. Yeah, Spoon Curve is probably the worst corner to come across a back marker. And now Essie's got George Chandler to lap. Which he does without a problem. Or does he? Because Chandler's still on the inside. He has the inside. But with DRS, once again, please get out of the way. Of course, with DRS, he should have easily got through. Why doesn't he get? He doesn't appear to be making the effort to move over. He doesn't actually appear to be doing much. He doesn't appear to be even trying. I don't know why George Chandler is not moving over. He surely should be getting the blue flags. I don't know why he's not even trying to move over. It doesn't appear that he's even trying. I think it's because he got through. Well, it's Holly Steele. He's got the blue flags now. That's not the ideal time. Please not going into Spoon. Good. I think he knows what happened to his teammate. He's finally getting the blue flags. That's a bit of a... Spent that whole lap here behind Steele. I don't know why she is still in the way. She's been in the way for about a lap now. Hopefully here with... Oh, Essie's in. Essie's pitted. That's interesting. Essie's pitted. I didn't notice that he had the pit signal on. Someone else into the pit. I think that might be Hardy. He might have lost his front wing somewhere. He's got going. That's a good stop for Essley. Alex Moores is in. Where's he going to come out? That's the big question. That is interesting. So Essley pits. It's a long stop for Moores. It's a very long stop for Moores. And now he has to wait for all those cars. Could he even be behind Baldwin here? He's going to be behind Baldwin. He's got going. He's behind Jack Baldwin. Alex Moores is out behind Jack Baldwin. Through that damage from the incident. That's interesting. Oh, contact between the two Brown Assos going into turn 1. Hannah Duran's had a slow stop behind. Pit stops have been Dork's real problem this year. Louise Morrow's still running in 3rd. I don't think it's going to take long for Moores to clear Baldwin. But look at the lead Walesi's got at the moment. He has dominated this race so far. Here comes Jack Baldwin down the inside. That was never going to work. And he's collected Moores. And that has given Moores a free passing. That was a move that was never going to work. Way too overambitious there, I think, from Baldwin. To pass Dan Phillips, that was not even a fight that he was supposed to be in. Louise Morrow is going very long. Whoa, Essie goes off! That curb really sent him off, but he rejoins still in the lead. I think he must have got away with that without even costing him, especially with Moores where he is. That was a scary moment for Wesley. That probably destroyed his tyres though. But Essie's got going again. Still with a massive lead. Still dominated this race. $30 laps still to go, so still a long way to go. That shouldn't cost Essie any time. Hopefully, he probably won't. Hopefully, he didn't receive damage when he hit the floor there. As Louise Morrow into the pits. She exits in P8. So Hannah Duran has really lost out in the pit stops. Woodward up into 13. She has driven so well today. And definitely I think points are in reach. Chantal Hawke I think has already pitted. I don't think she actually had a very long stop, which is what a lot of people were expecting considering how many knocks her car took. She's behind Max von Jagala now with the two CGPs, or Max von Jagala, then it's Joshua Moores, then it's Tom Mungle. So I think a safety car or two could put Hawke into the points. Hannah Duran starting to look very close to the back of Dan Phillips in the battle for 9th place. she's not going to be quite close enough as they head into turn 1. With Hannah Duran, it's not been the most exciting race this season so far. 24 seconds is the gap between Essie and Moores. Apparently Essie has been told on the radio, just be careful when lapping these back markers. You have a good gap. Just don't go for any ambitious moves on back markers. But Dan Phillips having to really defend there going up towards the chicane. He's been dive bombed once going into Spoon. I think we could see Duran's getting close, but she's not going to risk it down the inside. She has to be really careful because look who's behind. David Bland very close. But the exit on 150R, that curb is vile. But Duran's going to go for the inside, and she has made that move stick. So Duran up into 9th place. And now Lucas Quintanilla is behind Dan Phillips. And I think we're going to see him have a look down the inside in turn 1, or are we? So Duran up into 9th place. Obviously pit stops have been Dork's weak point. Hawk's down to 23rd. She's out. So it's been a difficult day for Chantal Hawk. So what was the problem? Was it a spin? Engine failure. Engine failure for Chantal Hawk. So that's a challenge. She was also progressing well. It's been a very difficult day at the office for the Dork racing driver. After having an incident at turn 1, which being involved in an unfortunate incident at turn 1. Now, but that's good from Zach Sadiq there. And just letting SC go there. So SC gets through. There's Tom Farron Smith, Kieran Hardy, Kerry-Ann Peace is quite a way ahead, so probably the last batch in a while of back markers. So Lucy Woodward has jumped the train that she was in before the pit stop. She's up into 13th place. What move are you saying was illegal? But look at the train now. It's going to be interesting when this lot come to back markers. Essie's just lapped Tom Farrow Smith without a problem. Kieran Hardy next. That's going to be interesting. I didn't see what was illegal because if it's within that curb, then the moves there have been allowed if it's within that curb. So Hannah Duran about to set off after Louise Morrow and Dan Milliner. Still, SC leads from Moores. Will Buchan now right behind Jack Baldwin, who seems to be struggling for some reason. As Lucas Quintanilla gets past Dan Phillips before turn 1. To be honest, I think Dan actually moved over there for Quintanilla, so I think a bit of team orders there involved. So Lucas Quintanilla has managed to pass Dan Phillips. So obviously I think, judging by the lap time, I think he has a bit more pace. Yep, Hardy is closing onto Essie's closing onto Hardy, not Hardy's closing onto Hardy. We're just over halfway through this Japanese Grand Prix. Alex Moores has got a couple of back markers to lap. Oh, really wide goes Moores. Is that a bit of damage? There's a wheel there. Someone's gone off. Oh, we had an incident there between Luke Julian and Tom Mungle. And judging by where the debris is, that is a slam dunk penalty. It seems Luke Julian just ran straight clean into the back of Tom Mungle. And that is a slam dunk. I'm sorry, Luke, but that is pretty black and white. I think that is going to be a slam dunk penalty for Luke Julian. Because he just has completely rammed Tom Mungle off. And that one was pretty black and white, to be honest, in terms of who was at fault. That one was all too obvious who was at fault. As Essie puts a lap on Kieran Hardy, and that is the last of that batch of back markers. Alex Moores has got a lot more traffic to go through at the moment. So there is Kerry-Ann Peace ahead and Joshua Moores. We've got 23 laps still to go here at Suzuka. But look how quickly Lucy Woodward is starting to catch up to Dan Phillips and David Bland. Dan Phillips is now really holding up David Bland here. I think we could see David Bland here make the move as Phillips goes to the inside defend as they head into the first corner. A bit of contact, but Phillips holds the position. And also with regards, we have news regarding the incident between Hardy and Hawke at turn 1 and Milliner, that Kieran Hardy has been handed a 10-place grid penalty for the Circuit of the Americas, and he's also been handed 2 penalty points as well. It's not really surprising, really. Considering that incident was pretty black and white as to who was at fault. Here you're looking at the race leader still setting some good laps. Will Buchan's still behind Jack Bond, but the driver who's coming, I think we need to watch in these closing laps, Lucy Woodward. She is absolutely flying at the moment. She has got a lot of pace in that car. Up to 13th place. Definitely got points on the cards for the Baroness, so I can see that happening. Really progressing well. is Lucy Woodward. But the action, not really much in the terms of action going on at the moment, to be honest. Everyone's kind of running in a bit spread out. It's not really been a classic, has it? Moores has got a lot of back markers to get through still, in comparison to Esley. And now Toby, this is where it's going to get interesting with the back markers in this battle. Look at how much now Toby Jones is being held up. The likes of Tewson, Baldwin and Buchan are closing. As Duran has put a lap on the Mossett. Phillips still fending off David Bland, and that is allowing Lucy Woodward to close even further on those two. We've got the second round of pit stops coming up soon. Essie still leads the race. Lucy Woodward starting to close on to David Bland. That is the interesting one. We believe it's around 5 laps we should expect the next pit stop window. I think Kerry-Ann Peace is like... Oh, Essie having a bit of a moment there at Dunlop. Pretty sure that would have got his attention. I'm sure Essie is going to be in quite early. Considering that spin, I think he will have to pit quite early, considering the state of his tyres, probably considering that spin. David Bland still stuck behind Dan Phillips in the battle for P11. Lucy Woodward closing. And now Tewson's being really held up by George Chandler here. He's going to get through here. And now Jack Baldwin's got to get through. Going to go for the inside, not quite able to make it. This is helping Tewson here. And Baldwin gets through. Essie's caught up to Kerry-Ann Peace. Trying to get out of the way there. That's a bit risky. And I think Essie's going to do it here, isn't he? Which he does. That was quite good from Essie there. You can't really like say from Peace, but from Essie there, that was quite good. To be able to get round the outside, but I guess Peace just backed out. If Joshua Moores is heading up to 131, they do have speed tech. I'm not sure if they're going to come up, if Essie's going to come up to Joshua Moores. in the pit stop phase, before the pit stop phase or not. Morrow is closing onto this train at the moment. Toussaint's gone off down the road. Look how close Lucy Woodward's now got to David Bland. It's not really been a classic, has it? You saw action in the first like 10 laps, but not really much has happened since. But it's here where Lucy Woodward's got to get a bit clever with strategy as well, also with backmarks as well. I mean, she jumped a whole lot of cars in the pit stops. Into 130R. And look how close David Bland is now to Dan Phillips. I think he can make the move now going into turn 1. Phillips goes to defend. I think Bland is going to go for a move now into turn 1. This would release him, of course. And he has made that move stick. So David Bland up into 11th place. And now is probably going to want to leave. Oh, look at this, Louise Morrow. Look how much Jack Baldwin's lost out. Jack Baldwin's really lost out due to this traffic. And Dan Milner's gained. Lost out to Will Buchan, Dan Milner. Let's have a look at where he lost the time. Quite a while ago, it seems, that he lost the time. Jack Baldwin about to pass George Chandler. Still 25 cars running in this race. As Steele gets out the way of Jones. It's the speed tech now, and I think if he catches quickly, I think he should get the speed tech down the main straight. I'm sure, because he doesn't want to risk anything, because if Alex wins without Essie scoring, he takes the championship today, and I'm sure he's going to want the championship to last for as long as possible for him. He's going to want Alex to claim, even though his championship chances are pretty slim, he's going to want the championship to be clinched as late as possible. But Essie can afford to, in this race, to just stay behind, and providing there's no safety cars. In fact, even if there is a safety car, there's a whole load of back markers in between himself and Alex Moores. Lucy Woodward's now right behind Dan Phillips here. We saw her pull off a great move on Joshua Moores through 130. I don't think she's going to be close enough to do the same to Phillips. But that was easily move of the race so far from Lucy Woodward on that pass on Joshua Moores. She's going to go down the inside of Dan Phillips. That was quite aggressive. Couldn't make that one stick. I think that's compromised her exit, to be honest, in terms of where she's going to get through going into turn 1. I don't think she's close enough now for turn 1. As Essie's now lapped Joshua Moores. So where did he do it? Yeah, he did it going into on the extra spoon. So, I think this is the first lap of the second pit stop window. Are we going to see SC into the pits this lap? As you've got Dan Phillips and Lucy Woodward. Lucy Woodward gets through. Great use of the back markers there from Lucy Woodward. She got through on David Bland as well. David Bland seemed to lose out somewhere. That was great use of the back markers there from Lucy Woodward. David Bland had an incident with a back marker. That was another great move from Lucy Woodward. Up into 11th place now. Surely we're going to have to see her in a race-winning car soon. I think Lucy Woodward, by far, has been driver of the day, in my opinion. Lucy Woodward, by far, driver of the day. He can afford to stay out a bit longer because there's no back marks ahead. I think he's waiting to be able to jump some of the back marks in the pit stops. Actually, I don't think it is the first lap of the pit stop. I think it's like a few more laps now. But Lucy Woodward, the way that she's driven today, up to 11th place from near the back. So we've got 14 laps left to go here at Suzuka. We've still got another pit stop phase to go. David Bland puts a lap on George Chandler. Kieran Hardy up into 17. He's not progressing as well, but that's because he's been involved in a couple of incidents. Lucy Woodward's got Harvey Williams ahead, whose race has really just become a test session, to be honest. Toby Jones having a quiet afternoon or evening in Japan terms. Morning in UK terms. It's just gone midday in the UK, I'm presuming. And Duran has managed to pass. Hannah Duran has managed to pass Jack Baldwin. So Jack Baldwin's really struggling now. He is dropping down the order like a stone. Lucy Woodward catching up to Lucas Quintanilla. 29 seconds is the gap between the front two. Where is Jones in comparison to Moores? Yeah, Moores heading down the straight. So, 13 laps left of this Japanese Grand Prix. Got the CGP ahead. I think SC is probably going to lap the CGP at around the time of his first pit stop, to be honest. And Duran's past Morrow. Whilst here you've got that Baranasso getting ever closer to Lucas Quintanilla. I think Essie's going to come up to Maximum Jagala at the end of next lap. There's James Humphreys, I believe, is quite a way ahead, so it'll be the last back marker in a while. just seems that recently every back marker has been a hurdle for both the Atarukas to overcome. Every lapped car. The ideal time to come up to a back marker is probably the main straight. Alex Moores has a lot more of them to deal with. It's not been the most exciting race in the world though, has it? It's not me going up to 130R that SC comes up to the CGP. Either that or the main straight, but both are probably the most ideal times, but you never know, something could still happen. Yeah, I think SC's going to wait till the main straight. For his former teammate Max van der Garde. Who gets out the way quite nicely indeed. Actually, that was a little bit closer. SC got DRS, he got a burst of DRS that he might find helpful. Of course, Alex Moore's way down the road. And SC's in this lap. SC is pitting at the end of this lap. That's interesting. Alex Moores doesn't have his light on though. But he doesn't need to worry because a 29-second gap in the pits, unless he has like the worst pit stop in the world. So, as he heads into Spoon, he has led every single lap here today. So far. Nothing apart from that small incident. That could have been big, but it was small. Essie did a very good job to control the car when lapping Chloe Carter and Zach Dedeek, that was. So Essie's in for the second time. In he comes. He's on the limiter. How good's this stop going to be? He gets going. That's a good stop. And he is free to go to the end of the race. Just ahead of a couple of back marks as well. Alex Moore's in. This might be a bit of a long stop, considering he did have contact with Jack Baldwin. Zach Dedeek is out. Yeah, it's a long stop for Alex Moores. Not been his best race this season, has it? So Toby Jones into the pits. He gets going, so Alex will stay in second place. Essie's coming up to lap Joshua Moores. Of course, and I think he's going to do it at quite a good time, it seems. Considering how much grip he has in those tyres. Look at comparison to the Mossets. And now he gets out the way. unless he can actually... has now got a very clear lap now. James Humphreys has pitted, hasn't he? Yeah, James Humphreys has pitted. I've got contact there. That is Steele going off. In her ref, who's gone off the track. That's what actually happened here. Oh, completely held Will Buchan up. Will Buchan got going in, but Buchan has dropped to 11th. Now. Lucy Woodward's still got to pit, so Lucy Woodward's in. So where is she going to come out? That is the question, the big question. She has stayed out. Dan Miller into the pits ahead. So where is Woodward going to come out? She gets out now. I'm presuming Bland has not pitted yet. There's her teammate. She's just behind her teammate. But she's got a bit of traffic to negotiate before getting to her teammate. So Toby Jones in third place. He's having a reasonable run in third. Still Morrow and Quintanilla yet to pit. Looks like Woodward is going to jump Lucas Quintanilla, as Woodward now does put a lap on Harvey Williams. David Bland still has to pit. So she's holding up Hannah Duran. He's holding up Hannah Duran. So where is the likes of Morrow and Quintanilla going to come out? So in comes Louise Morrow. Hits her marks in terms of getting onto the limiter. Quintanilla's in. Good stop. There is the likes of Duran. There's Hannah Duran, who she's racing on pit exit. And Will Buchan as well. This can be very close into turn 1. Duran has done it. Lucas Quintanilla is in 9th. Woodward up into 10th. Jack Bowen's lost out once again. Jack Bowen's had a terrible race. So, that is the second round of pit stops. I think the driver now to watch is going to be Lucy Woodward. With 8 laps still left to run here at Suzuka. Also, could Jack Bowen get himself back into the points? Behind Dan Phillips, Lucy Woodward catching up to Lucas Quintanilla. "39 seconds is Esley's lead. Quite some distance. Also, we're just going to have a replay of what happened to Zach Sadiq, to why he is out of this race. Presuming some mechanical problem. Yep, a fiery engine failure. So he's lost an engine. So now Lucy Woodward right behind Lucas Quintanilla. as Everson into the pits. Still yet to stop. Milner! Dan Milner's car's cut! We're going to lose Dan Milner from this race! So that's Dan Milner out! Dan Milner has retired! That's a shame, he was running well. Doesn't appear Anna Duran's actually getting away from Louise Moreau here. Louise Moreau's got good pace. Here she goes! Down the inside of Hannah Duran, and I think Louise Moreau's made that move stick, so Moreau passes Duran, who seems to be struggling. Baldwin's pass fits, so it's back into the points. Lucy Woodward's starting to catch up to Quintanilla, Buck and Duran, Morrow. So if Lucy Woodward has some good pace, I think she could get 5th here. She is reeling in this train of that's being led by Louise Moreau, who's got good pace. She's having a very good day as Louise Moreau. James Humphreys and David Bland battling it out. So we did lose. Oh, what's happened to Duran? Duran's out as well. Same part of the track. Same past the track. Hannah Duran's out, so both Dork racing cars are out. And now look at Lucy Wood. I think Woodward could get 5th. But that explains Duran's struggle for pace. Nessie's got a couple of back markers ahead. So it's not done yet. There is a whole load of back markers still SC needs to negotiate. Same with Moores. Moores, I think, has a bit more to negotiate. But this, I think, is going to be the biggest hurdle for SC to lap, considering there are two cars battling it out for position. And they are not going to want to lose too much time. As SC starts lap 50. They are going to want to lose as little time to each other as possible, so David Bland in particular. He does lap David Bland though, luckily, without a trouble. I think David Bland knows that Humphries is going to have to go through the same pain. Humphries almost spun it there, trying to get out the way. Essie gets through. Oh, someone with an engine. Is that someone from the top 10? Dan Phillips is out. He's going to retire. Looks like we're about to lose Dan Phillips from this race. Woodward's gone off somewhere. I think that's going to end her charge. So she tries to pass Quincy and then just goes wide. I think that's ended her chances of 6th place. I thought she was going to get still driver of the day. But it looks like we are about to lose Dan Phillips from this race. We are losing a lot of cars in the closing stages of this Grand Prix. Alex Moore's had a bit of an incident somewhere. Yeah, he's lost it. He's really not enjoying this race. It's Alex Moore's. Alex Moore's is really not enjoying this race. Really been in the wars, hasn't he? Yep, Dan Phillips is about to retire from this. I don't think Estie's actually going to catch up to those back markers again. So I think he's to the back markers ahead. Quick in time. I think it's all... Phillips has stopped. He gets through. Oh, that's a bit of a dangerous position there from Dan Phillips to stop. That was a bit stupid. So it really cost David Bland time. Almost cost Essie time. So lap 52 of this Japanese Grand Prix. Kieran Hardy's up into 13th. He's actually driven quite well. As Moores gets through into 2nd place. On the penultimate lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. It's not been a thriller, has it? As Essley starts his final lap, he has dominated this race as Will Essley. Despite a small incident with a back marker, could have been big, but it didn't affect him at all. Did that incident? He had too much of a gap to Alex Moores, and he has shown that he is the driver in charge today. He has definitely got had Alex Moores absolutely flattered today, has Will Estley. It's been an absolutely dominant drive. I believe he got been pole position, fastest lap, and he is about to take. He's only got a few corners to go. He can coast. Apparently, he's been told on the radio. There's been a lot of mechanical failures. Just bring the car home. Just bring it home. Just make it to the end. Just bring it home. He's been told. So Estley rounds 130R for the last time. He heads into the Casio Triangle for the last time. He now rounds the final corner. It is Will Estley who is going to take victory here at Suzuka. Will Estley wins at Suzuka. He has dominated this race. Alex Moores, he has had absolutely flattered today. Estley has dominated this race. And a probably slightly disgruntled Alex Moores is going to finish in second place. He has not enjoyed this race as Alex Moores. So he crosses the line to finish in second place. Toby Jones is going to finish in third. Good drive from Toby. Towson's going to finish in fourth place. Louise Morrow in fifth. Good drive from Louise. Lucy Woodward, 8th place. Probably driver of the day in my opinion, Lucy Woodward. And I think Jack Baldwin is going to be the final of the finishes on the lead lap. But what a drive from Will Estley. He dominated this race. As he heads into the pits, I'll be right back. Then it's time for the podium. I'm back. I'm just about to put the Rate the Race link in the description. Peak concurrent of 6, which is good considering a lot of people were not available. But I'm just about to put the Rate the Race in the description. It's Alex Moores does not clinch the championship today, but he does have a good chance of doing so at the Circuit of the Americas. Just going to put the rate the race link in the description. The rate the race link is now in the description. So you can rate the race now. But it's Esley who is victorious at Suzuka. Just making sure the result's going to be uploaded before I update the championship standings. And then it's time for the podium celebrations. Here at Suzuka, 3 races to go. Gap is at 53 points. It's actually very interesting. I don't think Alex Moores is like fully set to get it, because if Esley wins with Moores second, then the championship goes to Brazil. So I'm presuming within the next 2 races, Alex Moores is going to do it. Within the next 2 races. Here at Suzuka. But what an interesting race here at Suzuka. Of course, some people will be quite disappointed just waiting for the thing to import so I can actually update the result. It's taking a bit of a while. So I can actually update the standings. Which it has finally imported. 9 cars finish on the lead lap. But you can say Esley had Alex Moores absolutely flattered there. And Buchan now actually moved ahead of his teammates in the standings, but Lucy Woodward should have no regrets about that. Considering she drove a very good race today, did Lucy Woodward. Driver of the day in my opinion. In regards to the driver standings, Buchan's moved back ahead of Coombs. Towson moves ahead of Mungle. The gap is at 53 points. Jones is now back ahead of his teammate. Still 1 point separating the 2 Dork Racing cars. Let's have a look at what it does to the constructors. But another race with maximum points for the Yanataroka team. Coombs GP and are still 12 points. The gap's actually stayed exactly the same between Coombe GP and Brown Esso. Yunasa Roka have almost double the points of Dork. And it's still HWR and Speedtech on the starting block. With 3 races to go. Of course, HWR with their ongoing financial issues that they have had to deal with this year. It's been a really tough year for them, for HWR. Taken over California after they sold, and they had just not been financially secure at all. But now, we are waiting the podium celebrations here in Suzuka. We are awaiting the podium celebrations. Three races to go. With a dominant performance from Wesley. It was a dominant performance. He really was in a class of his own. I mean, the incident he had was not his fault. He himself did not put a foot wrong in that race. And easily, probably his strongest performance of the season. I'd say for Wesley, his strongest win of the season. To just dominate a race like that. I mean, Alex Morse has dominated a couple of races, but when Essie's had problems, that was probably the most dominant drive of the season that we've seen. Because Essie clearly had more pace than his teammate out there today. He clearly had a lot more pace. And he took a well-deserved win. And it's now time for the podium.
This weekend, mate, I'm going to have to run to the podium. Absolute joy, my man. I've enjoyed it hugely.
Here we go for the podium.
What a great GP2 race.
In third place, walking onto the podium, we have Toby Jones. In second place, now we're going to the podium, a disgruntled Alex Moores. But the winner, Wesley. And for him, we hear the British national anthem and Yunasa Roka. Just waiting for everyone to get onto the podium. The podium party is about to leave. Because now it's time for the trophies to be presented. Wesley receives his first place trophy. Dominant performance from Wesley. Now Alex Moores receives, or the Constructor Trophy is presented. Now Alex Moores receives his second place trophy. And finally, Toby Jones receives the third place trophy. Here we go, the driver is posing for the photograph. As now, it's time for the drivers to get busy with the fizzy as the champagne is going to be sprayed on the Suzuka podium. Leslie, a happy race winner. Good drive from Leslie to dominate the race. He didn't put a foot wrong at all. He may have had an incident that was not his fault with the back marker, a slight incident, but that did not faze him at all. He drove a picture perfect race. And easily his strongest win of the season. The crowd are absolutely loving it. Of course, in 2 weeks' time, we have the CRC. We're at the end of this this triple header now. 2 weeks' time, CRC heads to the circuit of the Americas. Gonna see if we can get any interviews before we wrap up. We're gonna see if we can get any interviews. It doesn't appear that anyone is online for an interview. We've got 10 minutes left of air time. But the news is also in regards to the penalties. Luke Julian has been handed a back of grid penalty for the incident. That's pretty black and white. So Luke Julian has been handed a back of grid penalty and 3 penalty points for causing a collision with Tom Mongol. And Matt Coombs has been handed 2 penalty points for blocking the track on the first lap. So Luke Julian will start from the back at the circuit of the Americas. Hardy has been handed an extra penalty point for the incident with Casey. So Hardy's on 9 penalty points now. Coombs has received 2 penalty points. And Luke Julian has received a 2nd penalty point. Has received 3 penalty points. And also Ollie Steele has been handed 3 penalty points for blocking the track and holding up Joshua Moore and holding up Will Buchan. Make that 2 penalty points for Steele. Not that that might actually affect her if the rumours going around about HWR's presence on the grid. For next race, the rumours going around about why Steele was not confirmed for USA, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. The rumours going round. So at the moment, drivers who have grid penalties for the next race, Kieran Hardy with a 10th place grid penalty and Luke Julian with a back of grid. Now the final thing is we need to see if anyone's actually got an engine penalty. If anyone has got an engine penalty, so we need to look at who's lost an engine. For this race, so the drivers who have lost engines: Chantal Hawk, Zach Sadiq, Dan Miller and Dan Phillips. Yep, Chantal Hawk has received an engine penalty for the next race because that was her 5th engine that she lost. So Chantal Hawk will have an engine penalty at the Circuit of the Americas. Yep, so will Zach Sadiq. So will Dan Milliner. And so will Dan Phillips. Well, not Dan Phillips yet. So Dan Phillips has actually had a perfect usage of engines. But Hawk is going to receive an engine penalty. So this means that basically at this point of the season, anyone who has an engine failure will receive a penalty. Toby Jones has got onto his last engine. The majority of the drivers are on their final engine. Not very many drivers left on there. And also Kerry-Ann Peace will have an engine penalty as well. That was the end of her 5th engine, so we're going to have quite a lot of engine penalties at the next race. We're going to have quite a lot of engine penalties, so drivers will have engine penalties at the next race will be Hawk, Milliner, Sadiq, Peace. So quite a lot of drivers will have engine penalties in the next race. So Peace and Sadiq. So for engine penalties, we'll have, so just to reiterate, we've got Hawk with an engine penalty, Milliner with an engine penalty, Peace with an engine penalty, and Sadiq with an engine penalty. So, to mark these all down, but it's a lot of people with engine penalties, as I just said. But drivers who are still on their fourth engine, both the Atarokas of Will Esty and Alex Moores, Kieran Hardy, Harvey Williams, Luke Julian, Tom Farris-Smith, Chloe Carter, Holly Steele, and Tom Mungle. So we've got 8 drivers still on a fourth engine for this year. Who'll be using a fourth engine at the Circuit of the Americas. But 4 drivers with engine penalties. Anyway, that is it from Suzuka. Thank you very much for watching what really has been an interesting weekend here at Suzuka. Obviously, CRC now takes a 2-week break before we head to the Circuit of the Americas with 3 races to go. We head to the Circuit of the Americas for round 18 out of 20 of the 2015 CRC World Championship. Goodbye.